Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda, and thanks, Carly, for being my co-chair. Next, we will hear from Dr. Jonas Benjamin, and I might let you introduce your background and your topic. And that's the microphone.
Okay. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending on this event seminar. I'm more than happy to be here presenting a little about my trajectory and also my plans for the projection of my fellowship. So my supervisor in this one is Dr. Luan Parker. And today I'm going to talk a little about nutritional and antioxidant treatment to counteract chronic disease. So the agenda for this presentation is going to cover my medical formation, overview of my PhD, and also the projection of my fellowship. So I'm Bachelor of Nutrition by the University of Pernambuco. I got my PhD in Science by the University of São Paulo. During my PhD, I did an internship in the Center for Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism in the University of Bath. And I also got 2 certifications in sports nutrition and exercise metabolism, and also in clinical nutrition, also by the University of São Paulo in Brazil. So I'm going to present a collection of studies that took part of my PhD. So they are 2 systematic reviews with meta-analysis and also 2 randomized crossover controlled trial. So all the topics that I'm going to present regarding the results of my PhD, they cover the inorganic nitrate ingestion as a way to try to restore the nitric oxide production, almost them in older adults. So a little bit of contextualization before moving forward to talk about the results. So basically we have 2 pathways to generate nitric oxide, the enzymatic pathway, but in some conditions, the enzymes that participate in this activity, they gonna falling. So there is a decrease in enzymatic activity. And in these occasions, some conditions as arterial hypertension can rise. Fortunately, we have a non-enzymatic pathway that through the inorganic nitrate ingestion, you can restore the nitric oxide production, but it just partially. So the first study that we conducted during my PhD was the first systematic review to investigate the effects of inorganic nitrate from beetroot juice in patients with arterial hypertension. So in this study, we found a significant reduction to systolic blood pressure in this population with a mean difference of 5 millimeters of mercury. So the second study, it was an original study published in the Free Radical Biology and Medicine. So the objective of this study was to investigate the acute and also after 1 week effects of nitrate ingestion on cardiovascular and autonomic performance in response to submaximal aerobic exercise in postmenopausal women with arterial hypertension. So we looked for the exercise in this study as with 2 perspectives. So we try to understand if the nitrate could have some beneficial effects together to the therapeutic effects of the exercise as the post-exercise hypotension. But we also used the exercise as a way to cause stress to the cardiovascular system and try to see if the nitrate could have some beneficial effect to recover from this stress. So the primary outcome of this study was the blood pressure, and we also looked for the endothelial function using flow-mediated dilatation, and also analyzed heart rate variability, heart rate, and we also analyzed the nitrate and nitrite and nitrosylated species concentrations in the blood samples. So the study design of this trial, the participants were randomly allocated to receive beetroot juice with placebo or with nitrate in the composition. So in the first day, they ingested 2 bottles of beetroot juice. And for the next 6 days, they keep ingesting 1 bottle per day. After this phase, they crossed a washout phase during at least 7 days and then did the crossing intervention. So in the first and after 1 week, they came to the lab where we collected the previous related cardiovascular and autonomic variables in rest during the exercise and in the recovering phase. So we got 14 participants that completed this study. And after the nitrate injection, we found a significant difference in nitrate and nitrite concentrations in the blood, even before and after the exercise for the acute and also after 1 week of beetroot juice ingestion. So regarding the blood pressure, the only between group difference that we found, it was a decrease in systolic blood pressure after the exercise. The other difference were just time effects, so we don't consider that as legitimate. So regarding the heart rate variability, we worked with parasympathetic indices that can show for us the vagal modulation to heart. Although we did not identify between group difference, we found a difference in the behavior after the exercise between the groups. So we can see that nitrate group had a faster recovery from the parasympathetic cardiac modulation to the heart, while the placebo group is still having some differences in comparison to rest. So regarding the macrovascular function, we found significant difference after the exercise for the acute moment. And after 1 week, we got a difference before and after the exercise. So the third study, it was another systematic review with meta-analysis where we tried to understand if ingesting nitrate before the exercise could have some change in the blood pressure during and post-exercise recovery. Is very related with the previous study that we conducted. But the idea behind these studies, because when I was writing the previous studies, it was very confusing. And in these studies, we take the opportunity to try to clarify some points in the literature, because the literature in this topic, it's very confusing. So in this study, we got 26 studies. So we found significant reduction for the increase in systolic blood pressure during the exercise and also for diastolic blood pressure. After the exercise, we just found a significant difference for the systolic blood pressure, but not for diastolic pressure, meaning that the ingesting nitrate before the exercise can amplify the drops in systolic blood pressure after the exercise. And also we performed a lot of subgroup analysis to try to understand for which population can have beneficial effects from this intervention. And I just highlighted here the subgroup analysis regarding the blood pressure responses after the exercise. So we found a significant reduction in the systolic blood pressure in patients that have a high systolic blood pressure before exercise, highlighting that people with high blood pressure could have more beneficial effects from this intervention and can be a way to amplify the post-exercise hypotension. So very quickly, the last results that I'm gonna talk about, it's another pilot crossover trial that we conducted. So in these ones, we investigated the effects of 8 days of nitrate ingestion without involving exercise in the physical performance in postmenopausal women. So these participants were evaluated after these 8 days, and we got a significant increase in the 6-minute walking test with a mean difference of 20 meters. Very small, but it's still significant. So I'm gonna stop to talk about the past and now moving forward to the plans for this fellowship very quickly, because I also don't have any result to talk about. I started 2 months ago, so very, very fresh yet. So the idea of my fellowship was to cover assistant 2 trials, that is the refined trial and also the prescribed trial. In the refined trial, I'm gonna have pay more assistant, and in the prescribed trial, I'm going to try to co-lead with Luan. So regarding the objectives of the prescribed trial, in an observational way, using a cross-sectional analysis, we're gonna try to identify key antioxidants or nutritional deficiencies that are associated with vascular dysfunction, poor glycemic control, and exercise intolerance in people with or without type 2 diabetes. And the second study, through a randomized controlled trial, we're gonna test the efficacy of our personalized antioxidant treatment for improving the cardiovascular health and insulin resistance in adults living with type 2 diabetes. So in the refined trial, basically this study is trying to validate a mixed meal challenge to identify insulin resistance early in community that otherwise will be undetected using conventional clinical testing as fasting glucose or oral glucose tolerance test. So the actual progress from this study, now I'm working into develop a protocol to analyzing the concentration from nitric oxide stable metabolites using HPLC, where I'm gonna use samples, blood samples from both projects to quantify this type of metabolity. And in the prescribed trial, we are working the manuscript preparation to publish the protocol of the studies. I'm also being included in the research ethics to, de facto, be involved in the interventions and also in the lab work for this trial. And for de facto, I can run the trial. So this is my plans to the semester, where I'm gonna to the Ireland to present some preliminary data from a crossover trial that I have the possibility to coordinate during my last months as PhD student. Good news, I got a travel grant to attend this conference. I received the results in past Friday, so more than happy to share. It's my first external grant, so yeah. And it's that. Thank you very much.